countries would have refused to accept the deportees or delay issuing travel documents to them. And these are countries that would have been in a predicament where Jamaica is right now. So these are countries who have been down this road telling us, or should I say, have a blueprint where Jamaica can look and follow. So them never know what to expect when it comes down to the TCN, but now that they are halfway dealing with the TCN in their country, they are issuing some statements to other countries who would have just signed these MOUs to act accordingly. Some countries refuse to accept deportees or delay issuing travel documents. And I'm getting to understand that without valid documents, Jamaica could be unable to remove the individual immediately out of the country. So we need to know what the government put in place to screen these individuals from a Jamaican perspective, and not just to take what America says. Not because America tell them, say, they are going to send individuals. Washington have already declared that these are 10,000s of the worst, the most despicable. We don't need to classify them as thief or rapist or pedophile or murderers. We don't need to. There's just one word to describe them. The most despicable, and we say it, is Secretary Rubio. The most despicable. That is what they use to describe these individuals. So we don't need to single out nobody and call them pedophile or rapists or murderers. The most despicable, 10,000 of them. Yeah? And so we need to ask, what security checks will Jamaica do for themselves and not just rely on the United States government to tell us, oh, these individuals, they were charged with this and that and whatever. No. What is it that we, our national security, put in place to screen or look up them information? Who to tell if these deportees will even have identification? Because many instances when I watch certain documentaries, they are telling us that when persons cross the border or illegal migrants, most of them would have destroyed their identity. So they are illegal immigrants. They are aliens, so to speak. So you can trace them and identify where them come from. Separate and apart, say, oh, you might hear them speak Spanish, but you don't know if they come from Spain, you don't know if they come from Mexico, you don't know if they come from Dominican Republic, you only know see how them speak Spanish, but you don't know which one of the Spanish country they come from, because they would have destroyed their identity. And so we would love to know, and that is the reason why many persons must get out of the frame of mind and stop from bash the opposition and say, oh, everything them fight, oh, everything them this. The opposition is doing their job. It is their duty to scrutinize every single aspect that the government put forward to say them are better the country. How can you sign an agreement to bring 10,000 individuals here, and most of them are individuals who the US refer to as the most despicable human beings? When you send them come here, what guarantee is there that all immigrants or deportees will have a passport to show where they came from, where they originated from, and where they're destined to go? Because I am telling you, Jamaica, that many of these deportees would have destroyed their passport because their ultimate and final stop was the United States. And now the US catch on them and detain them and are going to deport them back from whence they came. It is not the US responsibility to provide these nationals with a passport after they would have destroyed the passport of their homeland. So chances are these deportees will be coming to Jamaica with no identity at all. Yeah? And based on what these documents are saying, it is telling me, certainly what I read, that without valid documents, Jamaica could be unable to remove the individuals immediately out of the country. So if America send them come here, and when them go through our borders, yeah, and them don't have a valid passport, we in return cannot send them to another destination just like that, because we will be committing an offense based on international and freedom laws. Huh? No, look into it. They are telling us that none of these deportees are coming to stay. That is according to Andrew, you know, and his narcissist behavior. But why is it that when Andrew was walking with that woman and so I don't even know the word to describe his body language, how he threw his arm around the woman and spoke in a way to samify the woman. But why Andrew didn't explain to the lady that many who will be coming, yeah, are individuals who, if sent directly back to their homeland, would face torture or prosecution or even death if they return home? Why Andrew never take the time out when he might explain to the woman? Him never put it in the same breath. Say many of them who the United States are getting rid of can't go back home. So whether they choose to stay in Jamaica or stay in another country, the fact of the matter is they cannot go back from whence they came. So there is a possibility. That is the most responsible thing the Prime Minister should have said, you know. Lady, it is not our intention as the government to bring in no 10,000 criminals here. But just to be frank and honest with you, there is a possibility that some of them cannot go back to their homeland. And then he would have struck some balance of the listening public. But when him samify the woman and play on the emotion of those who are not so literate like himself, then this is why we are here, to further expound Jamaica, to show Jamaica that the Prime Minister takes some for idiots. Look into it. Remember that Jamaica has obligations under international human rights principles, you know. Not to return someone to a place where they face serious harm before those claims are assessed. Processing the claims of these deportees sometimes takes months, or it could even take years. So why the Prime Minister, why you didn't use the opportunity to steer that labor right woman in the direction of the truth, where international human rights laws, where Jamaica is a part of? Why Andrew never used the opportunity to educate that woman clad in green and make she know that Jamaica is a part of international human rights laws, where, yes, we understand the narrative out there is that we have make 10,000 people come here and them are criminal and whatever. But you should have used the moment, Prime Minister, to educate that woman that chances are that they cannot go back from whence they came, because many of them will face torture, many of them would face prosecution, even murder. We don't know what happening in them country, why they have to run with in America, you know. Make they can't go back. So chances are they might have to stop in other countries, because that is the only alternative they have, because they can't go back to them yard, because them are flee from persecution. Some of them are flee from war. We don't know the circumstances where them did that endure, why they have to run with in America. But we know Donald Trump said they cannot stay there anymore. And so Donald Trump decided to use countries like Jamaica to get rid of them. Now this is going to prove how wise of a leader we have in Andrew Holness. How this Prime Minister is going to get rid of these 10,000 persons when they come through Jamaican borders. This is going to prove the testament of Andrew Holness and the Labour Party, how they are going to ensure that these individuals end up to their homeland. Because you cannot tell me that individuals fleeing persecution and cannot go back home are going to find themselves in paradise, so to speak, where Jamaica is concerned, and want to go back from whence they came and face persecution. It is a scam. It is a scam. And this is the reason why so many controversy surrounds it. This is the reason why the government over a month now cannot explain to the Jamaican people the legalities. And that is the reason why America is in a state of bother and Jamaica has to be careful they don't find themselves breaching international laws. Because based on what I am gathering, yeah, you cannot return an individual to face their demise in their home country. And when I look and I saw individuals, yeah, in the United States fighting the president and this TCN deal that he proposed to third countries, individuals and lawmakers within the United States are fighting the legalities of this TCN. So how is it that the Jamaican government take up themselves and send Audrey to Washington to represent? Huh? And right now, America is within the court, but Jamaica got sign deals to uphold what is seemed to be going to be a controversial matter, where it is clearly illegal. So there is a push for the U.S. inquiry into the Porty deal. Federal lawmakers urged to launch probe into third country nationals agreement. So here, Jamaica, America is taking the matter to court. This is the reason why up to now the Prime Minister cannot come out clean and tell us the stipulations surrounding the TCN deal. Because who knows? Maybe the Prime Minister is doing something illegal. A breach of international laws is imminent. Once the first national arrive here, Jamaica would have breached international laws. And when I listen to Audrey Marks saying that the Gleaner is targeting her to stifle and misalign her reputation. What reputation are you talking about, Miss Audrey Marks? So because the media brought forward something that was hidden, a hidden document, you're calling it a political witch hunt? I don't understand these persons who say them a lead the country. I don't understand these individuals. If it's not a political witch hunt, she says somebody leaked it to the media. And if somebody leaked it to the media, it couldn't be somebody from the opposition, because the opposition was never a part of the agreement. But when I listen to the leader of the opposition and the member for South St. Andrew, Mark Jefferson Golding, Mark Golding spoke at a press briefing concerning the TCN deals. And when you listen to the opposition leader, he's making some solid points. Solid arguments. Because individuals are saying in the US, I just put up the man picture, see him here. He is a US lawmaker. And these lawmakers in the United States are taking the United States government to court because they are saying that this TCN deal is not legal. And when I listen to the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, he's making some solid arguments where the legalities of this TCN deal is concerned, because currently America is probing the matter. So my only hope is that Andrew Holness and his administration don't allow Jamaica to be culpable at the end of the day and when the dust settles. Because if Jamaica have signed on to such mess, it means that Jamaica is now culpable. And if the United States government is fighting their own for putting the TCN deal on the table, how dare we as a country go behind the backs of the Jamaican people and sign to such agreement? I wanted to listen to the leader of the opposition, Mark Jefferson Golding, at his press briefing. Listen to what the opposition leader has to say.
To some other news now, the opposition leader Mark Golding is questioning why the Jamaican government would sign an agreement to accept third country nationals from the United States when a judge in that country ruled the practice is illegal. A federal judge in February struck down the Trump administration's third country deportation policy, ruling that deporting migrants to countries other than their own without due process or adequate notice is unlawful. The U.S. government was granted temporary resumption to resume the deportations while they appeal that matter, but Mr. Golding says the arrangement is very concerning.
There's a case decided by a federal judge in Massachusetts which said that these third country arrangements are not lawful under U.S. law. The government of the United States is appealing that to their Supreme Court. That matter is not yet resolved. But we are nevertheless embarking upon an arrangement, notwithstanding the fact that the lawfulness of that arrangement in the jurisdiction of the other country that we're signing to is itself very uncertain.
And while the government, in justifying the agreement, says it is offering assistance to its ally, which is the USA, and one of its biggest trading partners, the opposition leader believes that there is more to this particular issue.
But for something like this, you would have expected that Jamaica would have some benefit from taking all these non-national, non-Jamaicans, processing them here, becoming responsible for them here, taking the risks inherent in having them here, and having to deal with them if they don't leave. So we're exposing ourselves to a significant amount of exposure by taking these people here, and risks. So, one would expect there to be some benefit flowing in the other direction.
You hear that? Huh? When you listen to the leader of the opposition speaks with clarity, and when you listen to the Prime Minister, there's a stark difference between the two. One, the Prime Minister is seeking to create a narrative that all is well, and he will never do anything to jeopardize. But when you listen to the news said that the United States court judge strike down the TCN deal because they deemed it unlawful and illegal. End of story. So why on God's earth Jamaica take up themselves and sign an agreement to accept these deplorable Jamaica? This is a mess, This is an absolute mess, which begs us to ask the question, was the Jamaican government forced or pressured, or was an ultimatum given and failure to comply, sanctions would be handed down to Jamaica? We don't know. But ever since that US Nimitz ship depart from Jamaica, the government of Jamaica have found themselves into some dealings where they're finding it difficult to get out of. The Prime Minister is not being forthcoming to the public. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is silent. The Labour Minister is silent. Accused of gone to Washington to make such bad dealings without the knowledge of the Jamaican people, Audrey is trying to wiggle herself, but yet still the deal was signed. And only a mad person would go to Washington and take on 10,000 of the most despicable human beings to come to your country without getting something in return. So, I would love for the member to find a suitable word to describe her actions other than insane or mad, because you said you are either of the two. So can you please find a suitable word, Miss Marks, to describe your actions towards the Jamaican people? We saw that you would have gotten your Paymaster franchise back into your hands. Could it be that the 10,000 nationals, these money that the government of the United States will be passing through paymasters to take care of these 10,000 nationals? I don't know. But this is what the government of Andrew Holness seeks to achieve. Chaos, no clarity, and it allows social media to spiral out of control. At what point the Holness administration is going to address the nation? Me tell you a couple of days ago, me say, the only thing Andrew Holness should have done is to address the nation. Every radio station, not just nationwide, every radio station and every television station and every social media platform, the Prime Minister should address the nation. Where you come on and you're here, my fellow citizens and residents, and you address the nation with clarity. But you cannot do so, because every single time you choose to speak, it is in defense of what you would have already signed off on. So you cannot defend what is not defensible. Can you imagine? How is it that you are going to tell the people of Jamaica that you are not bringing any criminals here, when out of the mouth of the American government, they state categorically that 10,000 of the most despicable, you don't need not more than that. 10,000 of the most despicable could boil down to murderers, pedophile, thief, scammer, you name it. The list is endless. And then the Prime Minister is going to tell us that no criminals, nobody with no antecedents. Only not to say a fool the Prime Minister take the Jamaican people for. Eh? The Prime Minister take the Jamaican people for absolute idiots. And I've seen him doing the video, playing on the emotions of an illiterate woman clad in green. And not for once the Prime Minister stopped to say to the lady, "Ma'am, I am happy you asked the question, but this is the reality. Chances are these 10,000 individuals, some of them can't go back to them yard for various reasons. So they are seeking refuge in the United States. The United States, it's an election year and election soon come, and so the government of the day have to look good. And the American people want to see them president work on their behalf. And so illegal migrants are a big concern to the United States. And so to send these individuals out of America, that will be a plus for Donald Trump. So guess what? The American government, they are finding ways to send home these individuals. But quite frankly, ma'am, some of them can't go back to them yard because war a gone. They would have done some crimes where them wanted. And so they flee from their country, destined to the United States. But for some odd reason, they find themselves getting deported. They will take a second chance at life than to go back to their homeland. Oh, do not believe so? These people will take a second chance at life to take refuge in a new country than to go back from whence they came. These people are fleeing persecution. When you see some of them left from some country when you know nothing about fruit trees and beach and sunshine and all of these things, and you come to a paradise like Jamaica, you think them are going to give away? My parents always tell me, say, the first water you reach if you wash. You think that these good afternoon, Opal, big up yourself, darling. You think that them are people are going to give away certain for uncertain? Huh? The Prime Minister and the Holness administration owes it to the people of this country a full explanation. And take it as me tell you, mark my words today, July 5th, Yeah? Today are the 5th. No, the 6th. Mark my words today. I bet you say somebody I listen to the words of my voice. Oh no, I go hear the Prime Minister come out with an address to the nation, you know. Other than National Independence Day or Christmas or New Year's Day, when you see them come give them address to the nation. Watch and see if the Labour Party now go put something together where the Prime Minister come give a national address to the country where this TCN, this have spiral out of control and we don't have no comeback or comeback. Because you know why? The government would have signed an agreement, and whether we like it or not, it no matter what Andrew tell me about, oh, we are going to ensure that no criminals end up here. Oh, we would have fought so hard to bring down crime. Oh, we are not going to go back and we are not going to do foolishness. Andrew no have no national security team in America to do his own investigative criminal background check. So whatever America says goes. And if America do them own vetting, that is why America, they send them back home, because America finds that they would have done something in breach of their laws governing America. So they are sending them back. What is it that Andrew Holness have done to ensure that it is right in front of him that Tom Brown or Mary Jane being deported from the United States have committed such and such an offense? There is nothing available to him other than what the United States would say to him. America, we tell them, say them squeaky clean because America won't get rid of them. Eh? Once again, Jamaica, the Labour Party has deceived the people of this country. Eh? They have deceived the people of this country. 6 minutes to the hour of 1 p.m. We're going to try to get out of here by 1. Jamaica. Once again, the phrase come to the fore. Be prepared for what is to come. And for what is to come, be prepared. We await a national address from the Prime Minister, because nothing you say or do can deter the minds of the Jamaican people. Yeah? You didn't put the American people, or you didn't put the Jamaican people, rather, at the forefront of the negotiation. A responsible government would have brought the matter to Parliament and say, guys, this is what is before us. Let us come together, opposition and government, and find a solution to this before. No, they didn't. They hide it from the people, and they sent the most incompetent of them all, Audrey, to Washington to sign a deal. And now when things blow out of proportion, there's nobody to pick up the pieces. Everybody have them own statement to give. The Prime Minister give one, National Security Chang give one, Audrey give one, Minister Information Dana Dixon give another story. And the culprit now, reading from a script given to her, trying to justify her actions. This is an incompetent administration. Yes, an incompetent administration. No way you should have sent a first-time MP who lack the decency and the competence to make such a deal, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs wasn't there, or the Labour Minister wasn't there. Who is advising the Prime Minister? Eh? Who is advising the Prime Minister? But then again, when you look and you see the persons advising the Prime Minister, the likes of a Sharon Hay Webster, are you aware that Sharon Hay Webster is an advisor to the Prime Minister? And then you beg to ask the question.
Powering on.
You are doing a wonderful job, Sharon Hay Webster. Continue to advise the Holness administration. Yes. When you look and you see Sharon Hay Webster, a legal advisor to the Holness administration, I am saying very well done, Miss Sharon Hay Webster. Yes. Because this is what God Almighty will do to them, you know. You remember when they did make the Tower of Babel way up into the sky? God confused them. Yes, man. So they take in the comrades and feel as though the comrades are going to give them what they need. Well, they take in a Sharon Hay Webster. And here we have Sharon Hay Webster advising the Holness administration. Well, let me tell you something as I wrap up my program. Sharon Hay Webster is going to advise the Holness administration right into opposition. God bless God's mouthpiece. I wonder if you hear me, Portland Massive. Sharon Hay Webster is going to advise the Holness administration right into opposition. Because I would love to know is who advising the Prime Minister on these matters. How dare you send the most incompetence to sign such an agreement? Thank you, only God know, big up yourself. How dare you send the most incompetent to sign such an agreement on the behalf of the Jamaican people when you have a Minister of Foreign Affairs with the capabilities and the capacities who have been at the negotiation table before. But then again, when they had sent her to the UN, she went to the bathroom and abstained. So chances are, Audrey Mark put on her big girl panty and go up. Go and go sign up. That's right, Audrey Mark. Show them say you is not a bag of mouth like them. You mean business. But little did you know, a traitor indeed, Auntie Tiny. My people, it was my pleasure being here. It was my joy and pleasure being here. Once again, doing what I do best. I encourage all of you who are here. Big up yourself, Chapdan Savage. Chapdan, may I go over the YouTube, brother? Give me a follow over the YouTube, no? May I ask the 200 and odd people with 290 odd where they right here so with me. Come off of the live, go in at the bio up on TikTok. I want to see my YouTube channel link. Just click the link for me, no man, and it will direct you to my YouTube page, The Drebrian Show, and give me a 1 subscribe. Do that for me, no man, please and thanks. Chapdan say, I do follow you, Dre. Big up yourself. Excuse me. Thank you as a God, and thank you to everybody who would have subscribed thus far. Helen too says she subscribed already. Jamaica, I want to say thanks to for the love and the support meted out thus far. I want you guys to be a part of something beautiful. I want you guys to be a part of that journey with me, just like how you would have been a part of my TikTok journey. I have been limiting myself to the TikTok space, and so I need to capitalize on my skill and my talent and use my talent on YouTube as well. And so I'm asking you guys to support me on my YouTube journey. It's going to be awesome. And so both platforms will be running concurrently. And as the days go by for the rest of this week, I'm going to use tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, leading into the weekend to familiarize myself with the YouTube as my laptop arrives, and I'll get myself prepared for next Monday. So next Monday, all road leads to the Drebrian Show on YouTube. So next Monday, everybody, I will do my flyer, I will do my poster, but starting next Monday, I will launch my YouTube platform, and I want everybody to gather there Monday at 9:30. It's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to see each and every one of you there. Jamaica, this is where we have to leave it for this afternoon. It was my utmost pleasure